I found the creepiest incel on Reddit. So in our previous Am I the Devil video, we had the guy who cyber stalked a 19-year-old basically until she was his girlfriend, while he was also dating a more age-appropriate woman. I think he was like 31. It came to my attention while prepping for a new Am I the Devil video that this guy's posts live rent-free in Am I the Devil. His account is extremely active. Lots and lots and lots of posts, y'all. So, as any good YouTuber would do, I sifted through all of this hellhole to find you guys the best, most absolutely atrocious stories from this man. Stories such as, am I the a-hole for wanting my girlfriend to wear a Confederate flag bikini on vacation? Unfortunately, y'all, I was not able to recover this post. However, there are plenty of more absolutely evil posts from this human being, such as, I've 30 male, noticed I seem to be becoming creepier as I've gotten older. Is this normal and a part of growing up, or is it bad? This is one that we did in fact recover using Undit, so strap in, y'all. Another one to highlight here. Do I have bad taste in girls, or am I surrounded by prudes, feminists, and snobs? There's just a plethora of absolutely awful posts from this man. This is going to be one of those videos where you feel awful after reading all of them. So let's lock in here, chat, and dive into the absolute most evil human being to exist on Reddit. I've 30 male, noticed I seem to be becoming creepier as I've gotten older. Is this normal and a part of growing up, or is it bad? Background info: when I was growing up, I was painfully shy around girls and was always super respectful, probably because my mom was domineering in my family, which led to me missing out on a lot of fun and action. I was a cute kid and I knew the popular girls liked me when I was a kid / tween, 10 to 13 years old, but my parents didn't like fashion at the time, so I became uncool by the time I was in 8th grade / high school, and thus undesirable to the girls I liked. As that realization crept in, I became extremely depressed starting around sophomore year of high school all the way to college graduation due to missing out on basically everything. No date for prom, barely partied in college, and always the wallflower. Didn't tailgate for college football. Didn't even attend my college graduation ceremony, in parentheses, decided to move out and start my IT job right after finals. My confidence was shattered, and I always relied on those rare instances when the pretty girls I crushed on and liked me when I was a kid gave me the time of day, which happened off and on. I was an extreme late bloomer to the dating scene and didn't lose my virginity until a year after college, a meaningless hookup that I thought of as practice with a girl I didn't particularly like. After I made a concreted effort to improve myself, work out, wear contact lenses, new clothes, ears pierced, tanning, strong cologne, I began frequenting bars because I didn't find any of the female colleagues attractive. I'm an IT engineer, which might explain why. This was how I managed to get my first official girlfriend when I was 25, 26. She was 22, about to graduate and waitressing at this bar near her campus. We were together for 3+ years, but broke up recently. She was exactly the kind of girl I wanted, but thought was unattainable growing up. High school cheerleader, Kappa sorority girl, blonde and tanned. Obviously, I embellished a lot of my past and pretended I was way cooler than I actually was in my school days because I was terrified she would dump me or worse. Feel sorry for me. What do you mean? Like, oh no, she felt sorry for me. Like, you can have someone feel sorry for you. But anyways, I've noticed I've become the exact opposite of my school days and the kind of guy I never wanted to be in high school. I openly stare / leer at girls I find hot, my eyes full of desire, even though I know they probably would never date or even sleep with me. Some are in college and might find me too old. Wait, hold on. So he knows he's doing some weird ass shit. I shamelessly and openly flirt with waitresses and try to get their number or Instagram. I've slept with a couple of waitresses that way, but my success rate is low. Doesn't deter me. I frequent Hooters by myself, both my local one and whenever I travel for work, and both flirt and stare. Sometimes I would send unsolicited flowers to a waitress to her restaurant the day after meeting her. Dude, if you're going to Hooters by yourself, that in itself should be a red flag. I don't even think you should be going to Hooters in general, but by yourself is diabolical. Let's be honest, bro. You're not going to Hooters for the food. It's not like you're sitting there like, oh, the fucking wings at Hooters are so good. I don't even look at the girls. Like, oh my God. When I'm at the mall, I make obvious eye contact with girls I like and smile at them, sometimes even wink. I follow Instagram influencers and not only like all their pics, but leave cringe comments and even slide into their DMs, including my current celeb crush, Sydney Sweeney. I hit on interns who work at the same building as me while waiting for the elevator. Yikes, dude. Basically, I've become quite shameless in my approach and stopped caring about what my crushes think of me. Is this just part of growing up and finally being secured / confident in myself and caring less about other people's opinions, or is this bad? P.S. I've never used any dating apps because of the stigma of online dating from my 2000s youth, and part of me always stubbornly thinks it's beneath me. I also think the girls I would match with on apps wouldn't be my type. How would they not be your type? Oh, you know what? I actually know exactly what he's saying. He's saying that they wouldn't be fucking 19. They wouldn't be 10 years younger than him. Here's the thing, y'all. I have always been an advocate for shoot your shot. But kind of what's implied in that is shoot your shot, but make sure it's appropriate and the other person doesn't feel fucking uncomfortable. And it sounds like bro's shooting his shot, but at the same time, number one, being a complete and utter fucking simp, bro. Like, you don't get a waitress's phone number or flirt with them and then fucking send them flowers the next day. Like, that's something where, like, once you've gone on your first date, you've established that you both like each other, you know, you want to keep the flame, the spark rolling, like, yeah, then get her flowers. But, like, don't get, like, a girl's phone number who might just be giving it to you for you to just, like, fuck off and leave her alone and then send her flowers the next day. But then also, you can hit on people without making them uncomfortable. And it sounds like bro is literally, like, cornering women. What did he say about the interns? I hit on interns who work at the same building as me while waiting for the elevator, ignoring the fact that these interns are probably under the age of like 21. But just in general, if you're hitting on somebody, don't do it in an area where they feel like they're trapped. That's like an awful fucking thing to do. It sucks that it won't be in this video, but based off the previous story, it really felt like this man was unaware of how fucking creepy he is. But this whole story is just confirmation that this man knows everything that he's doing is fucked up, but still chooses to do it. Like, he knows that he shouldn't be like staring at girls, making them uncomfortable, winking at them in public, but he still does it because he's just a shitty guy. I've had men corner me in my retail store until I've had to call security. If there's a pretty girl that you're like, hey, I just want to like shoot my shot, it's shoot your shot, but in a respectful and like way where they have the out to get out. Like, you trapping them isn't going to make you more attractive. What's going to be attractive is just like giving them an opening of like, hey, I think you're really pretty. I'd like to buy you a drink, but like no pressure. If you want to just like leave, if you don't want to talk to me, like you can do that confidently. You don't need to go up to somebody, corner them and be like, this is the only way that my confidence shows. It's like manipulative and fucking weird. And here's my thing too, chat, is like, I just really don't have sympathy for him because he's like talking about like, oh yeah, in high school, my parents kept me down. Sure, bro, I get that. In a lot of ways, like not saying that my parents like were anywhere near what his parents were doing, but my mom definitely kept me a little sheltered, and me going to college and being able to experience it for myself was like the door opening of like figuring it out and getting out of that shelter. Dude, when you're in college, like you're away from your parents. Oh no, wee woo, I never went to tailgates and parties. That sounds like a you problem. It's probably because you're so insufferable nobody wanted to invite you. Posted in r/dating advice. Does my 30 male Instagram make me seem weird / not cool enough to my crush 19 female? That is just a horrendous age gap. Straight out of high school should be illegal. I'm 30 male, an IT consultant. I was recently dumped by my girlfriend of 4 years, 27 female, after a series of silly arguments. She was hands down the prettiest girl I've ever had and the only one I could see myself marrying, so losing her has been really hard on me. Anyway, so I'm back on the prowl. I hate Tinder / online dating because A, it's demoralizing. I'm not ugly, but not a looker. B, I'm looking for a new girlfriend rather than just hook up, and I find most girls I match with aren't my type. And C, the girls on apps who also prefer relationships rather than hookups are too pushy and obsessed with getting married. I find them desperate. I'm looking for a new girlfriend, but they're too pushy and obsessed with getting married. What? Yo, this is also fucking crazy, chat, because some of the other stories in here are about like friends with benefits. Where are they? One of the ones that we're about to read is, am I the a-hole for wanting no emotional connection to my friends with benefits? Like, what? Anyway, so I prefer good old-fashioned cold approach. I'm kind of a late bloomer when it comes to dating, but I improved myself, worked out, wore contact lenses, got ears pierced, new haircut, strong cologne after college, and became more confident, which was how I landed my ex, who was probably way out of my league if we were still in school. I'm hoping to replicate that, so since my breakup, I'm back hitting up bars near college campuses, both near where I live and whenever I go on business trips / weekenders. Most of my advances fail, but I've probably gotten a lot more shameless as I've aged and no longer fear or even care about rejections even from the prettiest girls. Here's the thing, chat, is like, if you're trying to like hit on girls at the bar, rejections are gonna happen, and yeah, you should let them slide off your back. But if you're going for girls around the age of 21 who are in college when you're a full-blown adult, and on top of that, we know how this guy hits on people, he corners them, like, yes, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself if you're getting rejected because you're a creep, not because they're just genuinely disinterested in you. I flew out of town 3 weeks ago for work and went to Hooters for a quick bite right before my flight back. It was like almost 3 in the afternoon on a weekday, and the place was dead. No hostess, just a sign that said seat yourself. My waitress, let's call her Lisa, was sweet, cute, wholesome in the girl next door way though. So she more than made up for the bad food and dead vibe. She's a pretty brunette, and what stood out in her uniform was she had a huge round ass. What I would call pog. We're both white, by the way. What? Chat, did I just say something racist? I'm a little confused. I gotta fucking Google it. Is this like a normal thing? This is the first time I've ever seen the word pog in my life. Pog stands for fat ass white girl. It's an acronym. What? We knew it was gonna hurt. I started openly flirting with her right away, but with little expectation, in parentheses. I knew a lot of guys probably do the same thing, and she's probably just obligated to be nice and put up with it. We did have plenty of opportunities to talk. She told me she's in community college, but hoping to transfer. She ID'd me, so she knew I was 30. I made a joke about that. She said she grew up in a very small town in Pennsylvania, is a procrastinator, and a secret slob. Her apartment was a mess. She also voluntarily told me she would be working the next day if I wanted to come back. I told her I was leaving town that evening. Hold on. Is this the girl from the previous Reddit story that I referenced? I think it is, y'all. Here's the post I'm referencing. He's not saying it in this post, but he cyber stalked her like 2 years before he actually met her. That's insane. Anyway, I feel like we clicked sufficiently, but perhaps not enough to get her number. So I asked for her Instagram before I left, thinking most creepy old guys that hit on her at work probably don't even have an Instagram and would go for number. She gave it to me and I requested her at the airport. I also tipped her $10, which was good, but not exorbitant. I didn't want to seem desperate or trying to buy her. By the time I landed, she had accepted and requested to follow me back. All of her photos have 500 to 700 likes despite her account being private. Now my Instagram was dead prior to me meeting my ex, and most of my cool friends are her friends. In parentheses, they're all ghosting me now. After we broke up, I archived all of our pics together, but kept pics with her friends and group pics with her in them because I rarely take pics with others. My coworkers are all nerds and I don't socialize with them. I also bought 4,000 followers before I met my ex, and almost all my real followers, around 300, and likes are from her friends. Anyway, I messaged Lisa the next morning on Instagram saying it was lovely to meet her and wishing her luck at work. I also ordered a bouquet of flowers to be delivered to her job. She messaged me back that evening, thanking me and said the flowers were amazing. By that point, I was totally smitten with her and crushing hard, but I tried to play it cool, especially because we live in different states. We started messaging off and on almost every day. Sometimes she would ghost me for a day, but I never do, and I made plans to visit for a weekend before the end of her semester. I went again last weekend, hung out with her at work on another dead afternoon shift, and then took her out on a fancy date. I didn't even care that she was underdressed. She had changed into a tank top and jean shorts after her shift. She didn't have time to go home. While I wore a tailor-made suit, we then spent a beautiful night together kissing and talking about our high school experience and past relationships, and eventually had sex. I had to fly home the next day and we got coffee and breakfast together before I left. I invited her to come stay with me part of the summer and maybe vacation together, and she said she'd love to. I was on cloud 9 when I got on the plane, yet she suddenly became distant and unresponsive. I finally confronted her about it yesterday by phone, and she said it's because I seem weird and a bit shady and insincere. She said she noticed I was losing a lot of followers every day. More and more of my ex's friends are unfollowing me, that most of my followers are bots, that my photos have very few likes, 50 to 70, and those raised red flags for her. She also thinks I'm showing off my money and not as rich as I pretend to be. I tried to defend myself, even came clean and told her I had barely any social life in college and high school, and didn't get to interact with any pretty and popular girls until I met my ex, but that only made her feel sorry for me and look down on me more. She also finds it creepy that I follow Olivia Dunn and a lot of other college influencers. I got really upset and asked her if it was because my sexual performance didn't measure up. She said it wasn't the case. So she's laying out all of the reasons why she doesn't want to talk to you. You're creepy as fuck. Your social media isn't up to par, which, I mean, is stupid, but if it makes sense to happen to anybody, it's him. She also is just like, hey bro, it's really creepy that you like follow a bunch of underage girls, even though you're also hitting on me who's actively underage, but like, you know, whatever. And then he goes, was it because I'm bad at sex? No, my God. She's telling you why. You just open your ears and listen. Anyway, I woke up this morning and she unfollowed me, so that was that. I won't embarrass myself by contacting her again, but I'm a total mess emotionally. Like I'm 16 all over again when no girl wanted me. I even called my ex uncontrollably and she had to comfort me. I hate myself for being like this. Please help me get through this. This is just brutal. After reading that, y'all, I actually don't think that's Kaylee from the previous story that we even found this fucking awful human. This is the funniest because like the answer is right in front of you, bro. Like the answer is you are the problem. You're a fucking weirdo. Hitting on super young girls, the way you go about social media and objectify them, it's wrong. And any self-respecting woman is going to see you doing this and be like, hey dog, that ain't it. And if they're saying that ain't it, I have a fucking absolutely mind-blowing conclusion. You ready for this? Maybe you're the fucking problem. That is incredible. So you're telling me like this dude has multiple instances of women being like, hey bro, you ain't it. And he just keeps trucking along doing the same thing. I feel like he belongs on a watch list 100%. That's what I was thinking too, Rebecca. Yo, calling your ex crying over another girl is absolutely insane. If any of my exes called me and they were like, oh, we woo this guy, I'd be like, leave me the fuck alone. No way you're crying about this shit to me. That's insane. It can't possibly be because there's something wrong with my behavior. Yeah, bro. Like, give this man a lobotomy and castrate him. I think that's genuinely the only way we're gonna get to this man not being creepy towards girls anymore. His brain is so fucked up. I can hear your clown shoes honking from here, dude. Oh, that's good. This person said, 1, that's a child. 2, you're pushy and obsessed. 3, you're trying to relive your younger years instead of accepting maturity. And while normally it's just sad, in this post you come across as pathetic. 4, the way you describe her is disgusting. Yes, dude. I think if you know this term, that pog term, and actively use it, like you need fucking help. So this person said, maybe stop looking for girls and start just doing things you enjoy. Find hobbies and things will happen naturally. And then OP responds, like I said, I did that for the first 3 years after college graduation and saw literally a grand total of 10 hot girls in that span. It was depressing because I used to be surrounded by pretty girls on college campus. I was invisible to them. But then I wasn't even seeing any girls I found attractive once I started working despite vastly improving myself. I made a conscious decision to pivot, i.e. plan my entire schedule around going to where pretty girls tend to congregate and spare no expense. Because at my previous rate, 10 pretty girls in 3 years, some are randoms at Starbucks lineup, talked to only 2 to 3 of them. I would have been either forever alone or forced to settle for someone I'm not remotely attracted to. It was just too slow. Anybody building their life around meeting hot girls needs a fucking lobotomy. You need parts of your brain removed if this is how you base your life off of. I don't know who needs to hear it, bro, but there's so much more to life than just meeting hot girls. If the epitome of you living your life is based around how many hot girls do I meet, that is a sad fucking life to live. That is an awful way to go about living your life. Like, get a passion, get a hobby. If you love yourself and the things that you do, it will come, bro. Y'all, it's kind of sad because like this is the rhetoric that's being preached to kids. Like, you got to go out of your way to meet hot girls. Like, every girl is just someone to objectify and rape based off their body. Like, every one of my videos comments are like, oh, like Sarby hates guys. Yeah, I fucking do. If you knew about the shit that even I had to grow up with, and even further, the shit that I read on Reddit, the stories that you hear in our media about the shitty dudes out there, yeah, you would also fucking hate dudes. It's honestly a bigger red flag if you don't hate dudes. Those comments are like literally self-reporting. If you have a problem with me hating on the way that guys act in 2025, you're probably one of them. Get out of my fucking face. While I was live, did he post another post? Oh, guys, we got a fucking fresh one. Oh my God. This guy is the fucking content farm that keeps giving. Like, what? No fucking way. He dropped a new story midstream. This man doesn't even know he's getting fucking clowned on live right now. This one's gonna be the banger that ends the video, bro. Am I the a-hole for withholding sex from my girlfriend? She, 28 female, only tries to impress her friends and no longer tries to appeal to me, 30 male. She changed how she styles herself, and it's destroying our relationship. I still care and feel obligated to her, but find it increasingly hard to be sexually attracted to her. When I first met my girlfriend, 28 female, her name is Katie, almost 4 years ago, she was fun, spontaneous, and conventionally attractive. She had long, blonde, beach wave hair, a nice tan, not too skinny or fat, and enjoyed wearing skimpy clothes. Low-cut tank top that sometimes showed her midriff, short denim cutoff shorts, mini skirt, etc., and sexy underwear, especially thong. She also didn't take herself too seriously, liked my inappropriate jokes, and going out to dance. She was a high school cheerleader and a sorority girl in college. While I was kind of nerdy in school, I'm an IT engineer, so I thought I was in heaven and the luckiest guy because she was hands down the most beautiful girl I had ever met. Fast forward almost 4 years later, she has cut her hair short to this pixie bob cut and almost always wears business formal / casual. Long pencil skirt at best, pantsuit at worst. The only time she doesn't is when she works out or goes on runs. She would either wear yoga pants or those high performance exercise shorts that extend at least midway through her thighs. She just never shows much skin anymore except her arms, but they're just pure muscle. She has lost weight and become really muscular. Consequently, her breasts have noticeably shrunk in size. I'm not someone who has a thing for big girls, but I do prefer some softness / squishiness because I find it more feminine. When I caress her now, her body just feels like hard muscle and she stops wearing thongs completely. She also began to speak in a lower voice for some reason. I get that maybe she wants to be seen as more authoritative at work, but why at home? Somebody said it in chat. Oh no, she grew up. That's literally what he's saying here. He's like, oh no, she's acting like a woman of her age and an age that I should date appropriately. Maybe I should go after 19-year-olds. Like, what the fuck? For a long time, I found it difficult to broach this subject with her because she seemed to be living her best life and I wanted to be supportive. She got a big promotion after her PR job. Her friends have certainly been cheering her on. They always compliment her on her new fashion style and how chic and fashion forward it is. She spends a lot of time and money on high fashion clothes, but I don't find any of them remotely attractive. Maybe I'm shallow, but I straight up don't understand why she's deliberately making herself unattractive to me. Maybe I'm shallow, but I just don't understand why she won't let me control every part of her life and how she dresses, and that she doesn't understand that she's just an object that's there to please me whenever I feel like it, and only what I want matters. Like, shut the fuck up, dog. It's almost like women exist to be who they want to be. Last year, she asked all of her family and close friends, including me, to stop calling her Katie and call her Kate or Catherine instead. And then around Christmas last year, she told us she wanted to start going by her middle name, Sloan, which isn't even a girl's name, but her great aunt's maiden last name. I flat out refused and an argument ensued. Since then, I basically avoid to call her by name at all. On Valentine's Day, I got her these big hoop earrings she used to love, and she said thanks, but she only likes stud earrings now because they're classy. That broke my heart because I felt like we were drifting even further apart. I put up old photos of us in our living room, but she got rid of them before her friends visited because she didn't like the cheap and skimpy clothes she was wearing in those photos. Babe, I just feel like we're drifting apart so much the way that you prefer stud earrings over hoop earrings now. What a fucking loser. Do you really care that much about the earrings that your girlfriend's wearing? Like, how much of a control freak over someone else's actions do you have to be? Unlike her, I'm not someone who's ready to groom myself like an older person yet. I still wear t-shirts, earrings, and gold chains on the weekends when I'm not working. Plus, I recently brought my hairstyle back to a faux hawk, like when we first met. She wasn't impressed. All of these changes are taking a serious toll on our sex life. I almost never initiate sex anymore, and when she does, I struggle to get turned on. It has gotten so bad that I frequently jerk to old naughty photos of hers early in our relationship. She still occasionally sends me naughty pics, but I barely look at them. I tried to communicate, literally begged her that I just want a little bit of the old her back, but I had to tiptoe around it because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. We tried counseling about a month ago, but she stormed out within 5 minutes after accusing me of trying to dictate what she wears and called me a control freak and loser, jealous of her career success. I don't think that's an accusation. I think that's her accurately assessing the situation. She is quite literally calling a spade here. Since then, we barely even speak, even though we still live under the same roof. She tried to initiate sex a few times, but I told her I was exhausted from work. I don't actually want to break up with her. All I want is for her to at least make an effort to at least meet me halfway. Is that too much to ask? if I was evaluating this out of the scope of I've already read a majority of his posts and want to deep throat a Glock because he's such an awful human being, general answer is just break up with her, because clearly, like, you're looking for something different from her. However, I also think he needs this friction to learn, like, bro, you can't dictate what a girl wears. And also, that shouldn't be the basis of your relationship. If the foundation of a relationship is built upon how she dresses and how much you can objectify her, and that objectification leads to you being more attracted to her, you are fucked up. You need the most help in this entire world. Honestly, bro, I don't support this at all, but you need shock therapy, my guy. You need a grippy shock vacation and like 300 volts to the dome. Insane thing, bro. Like, no way this dude puts on a faux hawk and then is like, I should choose how you dress. Wait, hold on. Maybe I have the wrong impression of a faux hawk. Those are kind of ugly, right? Oh, okay. I'm guessing there's a way you can make it look right, but I thought a faux hawk was more like of a childish thing, you know? Why does it seem increasingly harder to meet pretty girls despite vastly improving myself? I'm 30 male, in parentheses, not old yet. Like most stereotypical STEM guys, I had a deeply unhappy and unfulfilling time in high school and college. My parents are both professionals with advanced degrees. My father is a physicist. My mom is an epidemiologist. So they put a lot of pressure on me to excel academically, made me participate in math Olympiad, science competitions, model UN, and didn't allow me to chase fashion and girls. I was pretty normal until middle school, as I was the only one in my family to follow sports. I intentionally stayed away from nerdy hobbies / subcultures like gaming, scene / emo, anime, cosplay, etc., and chose to be a sports and hip-hop fan. I mean, it's really funny because now these like nerdy hobbies are actually like kind of cool, but also not being interested in something because like it's not considered cool is such like a, if anything, I think that makes you more of a loser than being into things that maybe aren't as conventionally cool. Like, do you really have to try that hard to be interested in sports and hip hop? Like, you should just be interested in those things because they are interesting to you. But by high school, it seemed like all the cool kids left me behind no matter how hard I tried to keep up, except clothes and hairstyle because my parents wouldn't allow it, and I became deeply depressed. I didn't go to prom, never had a girlfriend or had sex in high school, never even kissed. My coping mechanism was to put all my hopes and dreams in college in order to keep myself motivated and focused. But college turned out to be a disappointment, and in some ways even worse than high school. Instead of being bullied by the cool kids, I simply became invisible. I wasn't in a frat. My parents would never pony up for that. We were paying out-of-state tuition to a prestigious private university and didn't know anyone who was, so it seemed impossible to break into any of the social circles where you could meet pretty girls. I would see beautiful girls on campus every day, but I didn't even know their names, and they certainly didn't know mine. I quit social media because it was simply too embarrassing to keep it up. I figured everyone who knew me in high school was probably laughing at me for failing to turn things around in college and damaging to my mental health. Seeing kids who bullied me in high school partying in their colleges and getting hot girls. This dude absolutely has that like narcissist, everybody cares what the fuck I'm doing. Like, hey man, I hate to break it to you, but you're not that important. Nobody gives a shit about you. And even if they did, bro, that's their problem. If you're like making fun of anybody from like high school days and you're an adult in college, like you're probably a fucking loser. Like if you really care that much about what someone else is doing and it like has that much power over you during the day, like find something new. My college experience dream was shattered, my depression got worse, and my grades went into the tank. For one whole semester, I barely attended lectures, ignored all my roommates, barely ventured out my apartment, just ordered takeout, and spent most of the time in bed watching therapeutic high school movies on repeat. Superbad, The Girl Next Door, Can't Buy Me Love, I Love You, Beth Cooper were my favorites. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't all those movies just about like dudes who are like nerdy losers in high school getting like hot girls or some shit? Am I wrong there? I actually honestly haven't even completely seen Superbad. I just know the premise of it because it's so heavily like promoted. No wonder he's obsessed with over-sexualized high school girls. Yeah. Like someone the other day was like, oh, you've never seen Superbad? And I was like, well, no. Like I think Superbad is like a high school college movie that you watch. You're like, haha, like, party, Now that I'm 27, I just don't want to watch that shit. I flunked out after fall semester of junior year and had to transfer to a less prestigious state school to finish college. My parents were furious and I resented them for allowing me to be left so far behind in high school. This affected our relationship to this day. The state school was a college football powerhouse, which meant bigger student body, more pretty girls, more parties, but again, none for me. I didn't even bother to attend my graduation ceremony and told my family not to come either. Instead, I laid in bed crying because I couldn't come to terms with the fact that my college experience, the only thing that kept me alive in high school, and worse, my entire school days, would end with a whimper. I mean, bro, it kind of sounds like a you problem. Like, I know this is a little one-sided because I was in a fraternity, but you do not need to be in a fraternity or like go to parties to have fun in college. Like, honestly, some of my best memories from college aren't from parties, bro. It's from just like doing shit with my friends that I met through more than just fraternities. He was probably brainwashed to think that was the only way that you can have fun in college, but like, you do not need to party or do those things in college to have fun. Go out there, find your people, talk to the pretty girls or guys, whatever your gender is, and like, you'll have fun. College is literally what you make of it. I genuinely believe if you have a bad college experience, like there's something that you're doing wrong or you need to transfer to a new college. Like 90% of the time, that's the case. After college, I found a decent paying job and decided I should finally try to start dating. Before I was ready to put myself out there, I gave myself a glow up. Oh my God, this man loves to fucking talk about his glow up. That wasn't even that good of a glow up. He just copy and pasted what he saw on Jersey Shore onto himself. I changed my hair to the faux hawk I'd always wanted, got contact lenses, my ears pierced, gold chain, cologne, blah, 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 blah. I worked out 5 times a week, blah, 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 blah. We've already read this. I'm skipping this. After I improved myself, I couldn't seem to find any girls I found remotely attractive. In fact, I rarely even saw them anymore. Not at work, not on the street, rarely in the mall, not when I shop for groceries in the supermarket, not where I volunteered. I tried apps like Tinder, group meetups, bowling alley, taking classes at the community center. Yet I couldn't even find a random girl I found attractive enough to meaninglessly lose my virginity to. I desperately wanted to get it out of the way, so girls I actually liked wouldn't think I was weird and an inexperienced, unlovable loser. Listen, I think losing your virginity is like a good step to exploring your sexual preferences, don't get me wrong, but if you find someone who hears that you're a virgin and then calls you an inexperienced, unlovable loser, that's not a good person. Like, if this dude is talking about other people like that, like, that's just wrong. But pretty girls seemed to be everywhere on social media, and it drove me nuts that I couldn't even find one of them to hit on. It's not like my standards are too high. In fact, I feel no attraction towards corporate girls that wear pantsuits or love designer fashion, which is why I reject all blind dates, even though most of those girls are highly successful professionals. Management consultant, corporate law firm associate, investment banker, lobbyist, dentist, pharmacist. So you just hate seeing women who are more successful than you. Like, bro doesn't want to date a woman. He wants to date a child. That's literally what he's saying here. I don't care for expensive clothes and chic fashion statement. I just want a bubbly, outgoing girl that doesn't mind wearing skimpy clothes that show skin and curves, fun to be around both in and out of bed, and laugh at my inappropriate jokes. About 2 years after college, I got really drunk at my cousin's wedding and lost my virginity to a girl I had zero interest in, but I couldn't even finish and had to make an excuse to go to the bathroom and finish myself off using the photos of a girl I was stalking on Instagram and never even met. So he is aware that he's stalking them. So in short, I went from being bullied and publicly humiliated in front of pretty girls in high school to being completely invisible and having zero interaction with pretty girls in college, to not even having any pretty girls at all in my vicinity to ogle, fantasize about, and crush on once I started working. After I got a better job and moved somewhere with more vibrant nightlife, I concluded that my Instagram was the real problem holding me back. Not enough followers and likes, not pictures with pretty girls, so I leased a Porsche, paid a PR firm to boost my Instagram, and even hired minor influencers, mostly college girls in southern state schools, to take pictures with me and tag me on their stories. My Instagram gained traction, so I began to flaunt it. I flew into country music festivals almost every month and went to numerous college football tailgates during the season by myself, but barely anyone wanted to talk to me there because they all interacted in groups and probably thought I was weird. Yeah, dude, because you are fucking weird. All of that is just the biggest red flag. What are we doing? Hiring a PR firm to make your Instagram look better so that girls will be attracted to you is fucking crazy. I don't know who needs to hear it, bro. People obviously do look at social medias when they're like starting to talk to somebody, but unless you have very glaring red flags on it, you should be good, my guy. It's not holding you down. And if it is consistently, there's probably something wrong with you. I stopped wasting time on Tinder altogether and instead went to sports bars such as Hooters and college bars to hit on waitresses. I would flaunt my Instagram to prove how cool and well connected I was, or at least normal. I make it a point to try to come off as much of a chill bro jock as possible. Play pool with dudes, talk football and baseball, etc. Basically, I would rather girls see me as a meathead than a nerd. I got lucky with pretty girls a few times this way, but most of these girls didn't seem interested in dating me, much less being my girlfriend. Earlier this year, I finally managed to date a 21-year-old college dropout I was completely besotted with, and someone I would have happily married and loved forever. I pulled out all the steps to impress her, even took her to Paris for the Olympics, but in the end, she still decided to get back together with her high school sweetheart in the army because she feels obligated to him and guilty from breaking his heart. I've been at rock bottom mentally ever since. I hate that her high school sweetheart still has such an emotional hold over her, and I'm resentful that she's unable to love me the way she loves him because of their shared history. I have more to offer her than that guy, and I treat her better, but it almost doesn't matter. She would rather be poor with him than be spoiled by me. I resent that I never got to experience that kind of unbreakable bond with a girl growing up, and I'm bitter that I'm always on the outside looking in. I.e., pretty girls only want me when they're bored and going through a dry spell, or when their boyfriend/ex are mistreating them. I feel that my options keep dwindling and I'm unable to seize the moment, much less make up for the lost time. I feel the world is passing me by and I'm terrified I'll never have the chance to win over a girl I'm genuinely attracted to before I'm too old. I'm not even old yet, but I went from seeing multiple pretty girls on campus every day in college to seeing probably one pretty girl every 2 to 3 months now. In fact, I usually have to actively engineer my way into pretty girls' lives these days, sometimes borderline stalk. I would argue not even borderline. You are just straight up stalking these girls. Nothing comes naturally and it's depressing. What was even the title of this post? Why does it seem increasingly harder to meet pretty girls? You know what? Let's just go to the comments. What are the people saying? I'm sorry, having a social media following, wearing bronzer, attending college tailgates at inappropriate ages, and renting a Porsche will absolutely not get you a girlfriend. It might get you laid occasionally, but girls want to date someone fun and genuine. This vibe is giving off desperate, which from this post you clearly are, which is not going to help. OP, I am desperate. I've always been desperate and now I am beyond desperate. I feel like the world is passing me by and I'm terrified I'll be unable to settle down with a girl I'm genuinely attracted to before I'm too old to pursue them. The fact that my recent relationship ended because she couldn't get over her high school sweetheart made me resentful and feel unworthy. I hate that he still has such... You already said all this, you fucking moron. Hey man, have you ever tried not being desperate and having some self-respect and also not being a fucking weirdo? Like, that's literally the problem. Like, you can find someone, bro. Someone is out there. You just need to not go after fucking children. You need to go to therapy. You need to have some self-respect and understand that, like, women aren't objects for you to just go after. It's like, you're going after girls for all the wrong reasons. You're going after them in the absolute wrong way. Like, this dude is just actually brain dead. It's not so much about trying to cultivate yourself to be able to present yourself like a gift to someone. A lot of women find aggressiveness a major red flag. A go-getter who exudes confidence also suggests a potentially domineering and selfish partner, or a completely insecure one who's just projecting confidence. People can discern the difference. The leasing a Porsche part reminded me of Elliot Rodger. I'll just be blunt. Plenty of women will prefer your character over a set of traits you're trying to project. Being able to be vulnerable is a sign of strength. It is. It takes practice, though. It's okay to feel vulnerable. It won't kill you. Practice being vulnerable and open. OP responded to that saying, I always feel if any of the pretty girls I got to know post-makeover realized how big of a loser I was growing up, they would never talk to me again and they would have never given me their number in the first place. Deep down, I feel like a fraud, but it beats never having the chance to get to know them. Like, dude, you're just operating on bad information. They would never talk to me again. They would never have given me their number. Here's the thing, bro, is number one, don't fucking lead a conversation trying to hit on a girl by, oh yeah, I was a loser in high school. Like, that's kind of an irrelevant thing. If a girl really, like, cares that much about you being a loser in high school, that just means that she's not worth dating. I would say a majority of girls don't give a fuck if you were a loser, bro, because you want to know why? All that matters is the person you are now. That's it. If you were actually a semi-decent human being that didn't objectify women, you have no problems. You act nice, you flirt with them, you compliment them, you ask them questions about themselves, and then at the end, you can ask for their phone number, and if they say no, cool, you walk away. If they do, awesome. Maybe try to continue it. Maybe try to set up like a one-on-one date or something like that. And hey, let's also go after women your age. Like, fuck, bro, I'm not even really saying like, hey man, you gotta fucking go after like a 30-year-old. Like 26, 27 even too, I think is appropriate at 30 years old. It's not that hard. I just don't get it. He does like to hear himself talk. I think this dude is low-key like a narcissist. Like, I think he truly is a narcissist where he thinks like he's so important and everyone gives so much of a shit about him and what he does. His whole character is built on lies that he thinks are attractive to women. Like, dude, just be yourself and let yourself attract women, because that will also make you so much happier in life. If a girl likes you because you are the most authentic version of yourself, like, that is what you should be attracted to. Am I the a-hole for admitting to my old crush from high school that I'm no longer attracted to her? Advice needed. I'm 30 male turning 31 soon, and Lexi, my old crush from high school, is 31 female. I was a loser in high school and she was the only hot girl who was nice to me, or at least treated me like I existed. So naturally, I had a huge crush on her and she'll always have a special place in my heart. I never dated in high school, never went to prom or any formals, and didn't lose my virginity until I was 24. So I had chronic FOMO. I was also deeply depressed and had no self-esteem due to the loneliness and bullying. Even now, I'm still resentful for missing out on the best years of my life because my parents were strict. I only had 3 happy memories from high school, and they all involved Lexi. The first one was 9th grade biology. I would let Lexi and her best friend copy my lab report and help them cheat on exams. Then, on the last day of school before winter break, I got to play cards with her and her cool friends in the back of the classroom while the rest of the class were watching a Christmas movie. It was the first time I felt like I belonged. Ever since that time, she would always smile or wave to me when we ran into each other at school. Those small gestures meant the world to me. If not for her, I probably wouldn't have made it through high school. But we obviously weren't in the same crowd and sometimes went through months without interacting. The second happy memory was missing the bus during a field trip in 11th grade. One of the supervising teachers had to drive several of us back in his own car, and Lexi reluctantly sat on my lap because there wasn't enough room in the car. What kind of fucking school is letting that happen? If I learned that my school allowed for my daughter to sit on another random high school boy's lap because they were incompetent enough to get a bus with enough seats, I would be fucking furious. Specifically for like this, bro. Like, what the fuck? I tried to be the perfect gentleman despite the awkwardness, but got hard. She was wearing tight, low-rise jeans, and I could see her thong. I still remember how amazing her perfume smelled and how beautiful her eyelashes were that day. I wanted to compliment her, but she had a boyfriend at the time, and I was obviously too big of a nerdy loser to pursue her. The third happy memory was on the last day of school. I worked up the courage to approach her and ask her to sign my yearbook. She took her time with it, gave me a hug, and wished me luck in college. I was going out of state. That was the first time I got hugged by a girl. To this day, I'm glad it was her instead of some random girl I had no feelings for. Since we were connected on Facebook, my initial goal was to become cool enough in college, show it off on Facebook, and then potentially ask her out. But once I set foot in college, I quickly realized not joining a frat and being a STEM major, I'm in IT, would make it almost impossible to become cool. Unlike high school, I wasn't bullied in college and just became invisible to all the hot girls. I felt even lonelier and my depression got worse, which ironically made me cherish high school more, especially the shared moments with Lexi. I would check Lexi's Facebook account occasionally and beat myself up for being a friendless loser with a non-existent social life. She was in a sorority and seemed to be having a lot of fun in a big state school. I deleted my Facebook account at the end of sophomore year and never looked back because keeping it up was embarrassing. And being jealous of others' college experience was bad for my mental health. Oh God, here comes the faux hawk brag. I did a lot of work on myself after college because I was determined to not become a 40-year-old virgin. I changed my hair to the faux hawk I always wanted, got contact lenses in my ears, but blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. I finally lost my virginity at 24, leased a Porsche, started an Instagram account to show off my new life, began dating normally, and was even in a long-term relationship. For the past 5 to 6 years, I rarely thought about Lexi at all. I went through 2 difficult breakups last year, and my sister, who has become somewhat friendly with Lexi on Facebook, tried to set me up with her over the holiday season. She's an interior designer with her own boutique. She and her fiance recently broke up. She's still pretty, but in a completely unrecognizable way. If we had been together all this time, I obviously would have still loved her, but I wouldn't hit. I fucking doubt that. Based off your previous posts, I would heavily call bullshit on that. But I wouldn't hit on her now if she were a stranger, and I don't know if I still consider her hot. 1, her hair is a lot shorter, browner, and she has bangs now. She used to have long, dirty blonde hair. 2, she clearly had work done on her eyes. Guys, I'm gonna fucking butcher this word. Blepharoplasty, fox eye lift, and her new look makes her seem colder / meaner, in my opinion. 3, her body is a lot more toned. maybe even muscular. She doesn't have that squishy softness to her anymore. 4, she almost never wears tight clothes or shows much skin anymore, even in casual settings. Most of her clothes look boxy. She wears bell-bottom jeans casually. When she's at work, she usually wears a pantsuit/trouser suit in bright colors. She also wears really high-end fashion on nights out like Valentino and Hermes. She calls her styles boho chic, but I just find it both expensive and frumpy. Maybe because I have no taste? 5, she clearly does her makeup differently. She never wore red lipstick, but she does it a lot now, and it's a lot less tan. I dislike red lipstick. Yeah, no shit, she does her makeup differently. She's a fucking woman now. She's not a high schooler. He's self-reporting that he's only attracted to like high school-aged, high school-looking girls. Hey man, what you just described was a woman of an age that's appropriate for you to date. And you basically just said, oh, I don't like that. Anyway, we hung out a couple times after Christmas, and she invited me to a New Year's Eve party. We mostly reminisced and laughed about the past. I admitted to her how big of a crush I had on her, and she thought it was cute. She joked about how horribly she dressed in high school, and I said I disagreed. I talked about some of the girls I dated, and she talked about her ex-fiance. I was glad to catch up and maybe find some closure, but it also became clear that I didn't really find her attractive anymore. I used to get turned on all the time when I was near her, or even just browsing her photos on Facebook, but now that she wanted me, I didn't feel anything, even when she was obviously flirting/seducing me, being handsy, or sending me sexy selfies. I feel like a jerk. I didn't want to take advantage of her because I always owe her for being nice to me in high school. But then she started coming on really strong and kissed me on New Year's. After I left my parents and flew home after New Year's, she continued to text, call, and leave me voicemails. I didn't want to hurt her, but also didn't really want to encourage her. She invited herself to spend some time with me last week, and I said okay because I didn't want to be mean. Plus, I had no plans and didn't mind her company. You're just leading her on. Hey bro, there's this new concept. It's called communicating how you feel. If you're not attracted to her, and she is clearly attracted to her, you have a conversation with her about how not attracted you are to her. And also, don't mislead her by inviting her over, having her buy a whole ass plane ticket to where you live. She's basically saying, let me stay at your place so that we can fucking do the adult tango. You can't be this stupid, bro. You know what? Maybe he is that stupid. I mean, we're here, right? She immediately rearranged my living room, picked up my dry cleaning, and made candlelit dinner when I was at work. I appreciated her gesture, but I thought she was just being a bit aggressive. Then she wanted to have sex. We made out and I grabbed her breasts, but I just couldn't get hard. She kept checking to see if I was hard and tried to stroke it to make it hard, but I just wasn't able to do it, and I felt awful for letting her down. Then she tried to give me a BJ. It lasted for 10 to 15 seconds before I stopped her. I am once again being like, hey, if you are not attracted to her, why are you even letting it get this far? I tried to say in the nicest way possible that perhaps we should take sex off the table for now, so I could learn to love the new current version of her. She got really offended and asked if I was still attracted to her. I told her she's obviously very beautiful and has nothing to worry about, but that only offended her more. Eventually, she asked me if 20 years old her wanted to sleep with me, would I have put off sex? I said that wasn't a fair question, but she persisted and forced me to admit I thought she was hotter before. She was extremely upset, and I had a breakdown and cried. This guy is pathetic. Oh yeah, I'm actively like hurting a girl who like I've been claiming throughout this whole post I don't want to hurt because I care so much about how nice she was to me in high school. And then when she is the one who's upset, he's the one who starts fucking crying. Like whether he's doing it on purpose or not, like that's manipulative. For somebody else to be obviously upset because you're not communicating with them, you're leading them on, you're telling them kind of awful things, and then for you to make it about you by crying, that's narcissist behavior. That is very manipulative behavior. I told her that I never want to hurt her and that I'll always want to be her friend and be supportive of her because her kindness in high school is probably the only reason I'm alive today. But in terms of attraction, it's something that needs to be worked on. It's not that I find her unattractive. It's just that she looks so different now and not exactly my type, but I'm willing to work on it. She said that was the worst thing anyone has ever said to her, and I humiliated her. I said she shouldn't begrudge me because when she was having fun, I wasted the best years of my life. Hold on. So she said to OP, hey, that's the worst thing anyone has ever said to me, and now I'm humiliated. And his response is, oh, wee woo, don't yell at me. You had fun in high school, and I wasted those years of my life. Like, how the fuck is that relevant to you are actively being a shitty person to her now? You being a loser in high school had nothing to do with her. Just because she had fun in high school doesn't mean that she can't fucking clown you for the absolute stupidity you're putting putting her through right now in the present. She slapped me across the face and told me to grow the fuck up before she left. I texted her twice to check on her sense and let her know my offer of friendship still stands, but she's ghosting me. Did I handle this poorly? Fuck yeah, you handled this poorly. Oh my God. He can't admit anything is his fault. It's woe is me. I wasn't cool in high school. I had to try to become cool so that hot girls would be attracted to me. It's like, dude, your whole philosophy, your whole mindset around this shit is just awful. You have it wired in your brain that women are objects to please you and that it's okay for you to be hitting on literal children because that's what you're attracted to. No, bro, you need shock therapy, regular therapy, and probably need to be locked in a cell underground so that you don't be a detriment to society. Am I the a-hole for wanting no emotional connection to my friends with benefits and only interested in rough sex? No lovemaking. Advice needed. I'm a 31 male IT engineer. I got dumped by the love of my life, 21 female, 4+ months ago, shortly after last Thanksgiving, and I've been deeply depressed ever since. My mind keeps going back to being bullied in high school and ignored in college. I feel like she was my last chance, and I'll never get another girl like her because I'm too old now. My mom and sis tried to set me up with blind dates, but I rarely bother to go and don't put in effort when I do. I begrudgingly started using apps again, first time in 5 to 6 years, in the days before Valentine's Day because I needed to blow off some steam and hated being alone on Valentine's Day. I matched with this somewhat nerdy, pale 29 female, half Asian girl who is into cosplay. Not my type at all, and I've been hooking up with her since. Since we met 1+ month ago, I'd refused to tell her where I live or my social media, and I only go by my middle name. We always meet up at a diner, Denny's, and hook up the motel next to it. I never stay the night. Plus, since she's not my type and I don't find her physically attractive, it's really hard for me to get hard unless I'm being rough and degrading. Spanking, name calling, face slapping, choking, fish hooking, you name it. All with consent, of course. But I get the feeling she doesn't particularly enjoy it, okay? So I think we need to go over what consent actually means, because that is not consent. And she's only going along with it due to low self-esteem. Bro, talk about the kettle calling the pot black, because what the fuck? She has low self-esteem, bro. Have you read any of your posts, like, ever? I also don't like looking at her face, so I do it from behind the most often. I feel like an a-hole, and I hate the man I've become. Oftentimes, I would drive home from the motel, look at happy pics with my ex and even just videos of us eating/talking in my car and cry. I see pretty girls with guys no better looking than me and ask myself why I don't deserve the same happiness. As much as I don't care about my friends with benefits, she probably still deserves better. You should only be able to type so many sentences like this before you just get banned from the internet and thrown into jail. Over the past 2 weeks, my friends with benefits started becoming more and more clingy. She would text me multiple times a day and I would take 2 to 3 days to respond. She would send me naughty pics, but I rarely comment on them or even look. She demands that I take her to somewhere better than a diner, so I took her to Olive Garden. She still wasn't happy, so I took her to Outback. I don't really want the sexual relationships to end, at least until I can find someone else, but I really don't want to date her or any emotional connection whatsoever. So I told her that to her face and she cried and called me the a-hole. I don't think I'm a bad guy. If anything, I think it would be worse if I string her along, and I easily could have done that. I mean, it kind of sounds like you did string her along for a while. This poor girl. Like, girl, have some self-respect to, like, get away from this fucking loser. Like, if anything, this might be the best thing that's ever happened to her. Because this guy's just a fucking dick. Someone said to hire a hooker, you cheap bastard. And they replied, I would never stoop that low. Plus, I'm terrified of an STD. This guy has fucking serious issues. A friends with benefits is actually a friend in the name, and you treat your friends with respect and love. OP is the biggest asshole ever. Yeah, this isn't even friends with benefits. This is a girl who has sex with you and benefits. You might as well be paying for this shit, dude. Honestly, like, Judas, I don't want him to get AIDS or HIV because he'll probably give it to other people without them knowing. I want this man to get his dick chopped off. That's the only solution here, chat. Chop it off. He doesn't deserve it anymore. I can't stop looking at photos and videos of my ex-girlfriend. Deleting them isn't an option. Ever since my 21 female ex-girlfriend left me shortly after Thanksgiving to get back with her ex, they dated from 16 to 20. He's in the army. I've been in a rut. Depressed. Crying due to random triggers that remind me of her. Prone to anger. Sleeping a lot. Drinking too much. I've been unproductive at work. I work remotely most of the time. I've lost muscle mass due to the lack of motivation. I still go to the gym 5 days a week, but slack off a lot. All the resentment I had growing up, bullied in high school because parents forced me to nerd out and wear glasses / frumpy clothes / mature haircut. Invisible to hot girls in college. Didn't lose my virginity until I was 24. No girlfriend until almost 27. Bubbled back to the surface. He lives so heavily in the past. Like, this clearly is something he thinks about all the time. This dude wakes up and thinks about how much of a loser, quote unquote, he was in high school. Or at least in his mind, how much he thinks he was a loser. I didn't say this, but I'm sure he has like severe mommy issues. Like, I'm 100% sure he's not attracted to these women who are older because they remind him of his mother. 100%. That has to be it. It's like reverse Oedipus complex. He hates his mom so much because he holds resentment for the fact that he was like the way that he was in high school and pins that all on his mom. That has to be 100% the reason why he's not attracted to women of the age that is appropriate for him to date. I haven't found any of the sex I've had post-breakup satisfying and don't even find most of the girls remotely attractive. I found a friends with benefits, 29 female, shortly after Valentine's Day through an app. And I can't even get hard without being rough and degrading to her. I also almost always do her from behind because I don't like looking at her face. I hate the man I've become. The worst part is I spend hours each day looking at the photos and videos of my ex. Not all of them are sexual. The real way to type this is none of them are sexual. In fact, my favorite video is just us eating burritos in my car, goofing off, listening to music, and teasing each other. It was a hot day from last August. She was wearing a tube top and her denim short shorts were unbuttoned, so her tummy was out. She had the sauce in plastic portion cup on her lap, but it fell because I was caressing her thigh and she playfully slapped my hand away. Then I tried to tickle her and playfully rub her belly and grab her boobs. She wasn't too happy about that. I have a 30-minute video I recorded on my phone of this, and I can't stop rewatching it almost on the daily. I mean, that's not healthy for trying to get over somebody, but honestly, if anybody should suffer, it's this guy. I have a ton of other non-sexual pics and videos of her because she loves to take silly/pouty selfies, herself, her friends, or with me. Group pics at parties/bar, bikini pics at the beach, and TikTok. Sometimes I help to record her. I've always loved how bubbly and outgoing she is. She's full of life and it rubbed off on me. There are sexual ones as well, not just nudes, but I also recorded a video of her. Oh God. But I also recorded a video of her giving me a BJ on my phone when we went on vacation last July. Then I set up camera in my bedroom and recorded us having sex twice with her permission. Obviously, I would never share these with anyone else. In my most vulnerable moments, I would jerk to her photos/videos and then break down in tears because she's not mine anymore. You should also probably delete those because that's not appropriate now that you guys are not dating anymore. Unless she's given him permission, which I highly doubt. I know most people would tell me to delete everything, but that simply isn't an option for me because the time I spent with her last year will probably go down as the happiest time of my life. And I know deep down that it's a long shot for me to find any girl remotely similar to her. If I'm eventually forced to settle with a girl I don't like, or be lonely forever, I at least want these memories to stay with me. I've even kept all of her voicemails, praying for the girl that he decides to settle with. Just wow. Oh shit. My family tried to stage an intervention. My parents tried to put me in psychiatric hold when I went home on Christmas and lashed out at my mom for ruining my high school experience, but I refused to go and simply drove 10 plus hours back home. My sister and brother-in-law threw away the hard drive where I kept all of my ex's stuff, but I have 5 backups? Backing up photos of you and your ex because you don't want to lose them that bad on 5 different devices is crazy. Dude, they were so cooking on the psychiatric hold thing. This man is a danger to, most importantly, society, but also himself. My mom, sister, relatives, and family friends have been trying to set me up with blind dates. I refuse to go to most of them and don't put in any effort when I do go. None of them is even close to my type. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Ever since college graduation, I've been working my ass off and improving myself to give myself a chance with girls like her. The kind of girls I didn't have a chance to pursue when I was in school. I was so close to getting everything I wanted, yet I still lost her to someone who has nothing to offer her, just because they grew up together. I miss her hug and hearing her laugh. Okay, wait, hold on. He keeps saying this like, oh, the only reason that they're together is just because they grew up together. I guarantee there's no way somebody is this insecure in themselves and this much of a shit show that it didn't bleed into the relationship. Honestly, Chad, I bet OP is the reason that this girl, Kaylee, got back together with her ex. 100%. Whatever bad shit that army dude was doing, she was probably like, yeah, this is nothing compared to this fucking absolute asshole I have stumbled across. Just insane. I miss her hug and hearing her laugh. I'm addicted to her short yet voluptuous stacked 5-foot body. Her big boobs and butt, her soft, round flesh, her thick thighs. Hey, man, what about her personality? Oh, shit, it keeps going, y'all. Her tanned, sun-kissed skin, her long blonde hair, her thick eyebrows and full lashes, her sweet, angelic face with rosy complexion, her big brown eyes, her colorful nails, and her adorable smile. Like, cool, you're attracted to her, but clearly you're only attracted to her features. Like, you objectify her for her features and what those features can do for you sexually attraction-wise. Like, hey, bro, like, what about how smart she is? What about how kind she treated you? What about the way that she treated others? What about the little nice things that she would do for you? Like, it's so crazy, like, how much this guy objectifies the shit out of her. I also love that she's a girl next door type, tank top, short shorts, who doesn't care about designer brands and looking chic. And the fact that she's not shy about wearing tight, skimpy clothes that accentuate her curves and never wears red lipstick. Such a turnoff. I just couldn't get enough of her and can't deal with the fact that she left me. I would literally bet everything in my bank account that his mom wears red lipstick. Easily. Bro has the reverse Oedipus complex. Like, final answer. Therapy would not help. Only getting her back or knowing that I still have a chance with someone remotely similar to her might. I started DMing her again through her dog's Instagram and she's still nice to me, yet it's not enough and I feel like I'll always be on the outside looking in, never be good enough for girls like her. Plus her older sister, opposite of her personality, texted me recently and said I should stop trying to contact her if I truly loved her. Tabby, I'ma cry. Dude, I can't believe this man is fucking real. This is actually so painful to know that there are this big of losers out there. Like, I'm sorry if you're watching this video, you're in this stream and you relate to this, you're a loser and you need help. Go to therapy, isolate yourself from women until you figure out how to not be an asshole. Little pet pics intermission. He looks pissed. Oh, he's enjoying his swing. Oh, I love this. This is healing me. This is exactly what we needed in this moment. Big yawn boy. We love a white crusty dog. Okay, tell me that isn't the most polite man ever. It is a handsome guy. So dapper. Oh, wow. Bro does not enjoy that. That is the face of a cat that's gonna scratch your face off while you're sleeping. It's a hot dog. Good palate cleanser. Do I have bad taste in girls, or am I surrounded by prudes, feminists, and snobs? I'm 31 male, born March 1994, IT engineer. Ever since I hit puberty, I've been accused by my family of having bad, even trashy, taste in girls. My mom caught me looking at British page 3 topless girls on our family desktop computer in 8th grade. I'm American and randomly found page 3 online. Keely Hazel was my first celeb crush. Both of my parents are highly educated professionals / researchers, and my mom wears the pants in their marriage. I felt sorry for my dad at times. My mom rarely wears makeup, so I've long suspected that she has something against feminine girls with sex appeal that doll themselves up, my type. And she basically tried to make me as unappealing as possible to those girls growing up. Frumpy clothes, old-fashioned haircut, glasses instead of contacts, etc. Most of my parents' friends have similar marriage dynamic. Enlightened men who married domineering, highly educated women that emasculate them. None of them were exactly wealthy, but they considered themselves the so-called intellectual elite, which means they're insufferable blowhards. I've always hated their pretension and phoniness and rebelled against that. And I thought there was nothing romantic / passionate about their relationships. When I was a kid, I promised myself I would carve my own path rather than repeat the cycle the way my parents expected me to. I would rather be upfront about being a red-blooded man with unrefined, borderline tacky, biologically driven taste and sexual needs. Don't get me wrong, like being in a relationship where you're being emasculated doesn't sound particularly fun, but I also have a feeling that it wasn't really emasculated. It was more like wasn't under the umbrella of the typical patriarchal marriage. Because like honestly, what OP's talking about are two ends of the spectrum. You have this like the pendulum swinging to one side where the woman is like making the man feel emasculated and blah, 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 which like, if it truly is bad, yeah, that shouldn't happen. But now OP is like, well, then I would rather be upfront about being on the other side, which is this guy who only sees women as objects to have sex with. It's like, hey, bro, there is a middle ground where you and the woman respect each other. There isn't a power dynamic. There isn't objectification. There is true, genuine love with each other. Why don't we figure out how to get there? Why do we have to go go to this side that you are clearly identifying is tacky, unrefined, and typically what goes with those things. Not okay. Oh God, and then he just keeps fucking talking about himself like he's the most important man that ever existed. I was pretty normal until the end of middle school and probably talked to more girls than the average guy my age. I was a poser and would always bring my basketball/football into the classroom despite not being on any varsity teams. I wanted to buy jerseys and Air Jordans, but my parents refused. I also memorized the lyrics and learned to rap Eminem's Lose Yourself, 50 Cent's Pimp, T.I.'s What You Know, and a few other songs for the attention, but I failed to keep up style-wise in high school and thus became an easy target for bullies. Yet I still had zero interest in any of the nerdy girls. In fact, I barely interacted with any girls at all, and the only girl who acknowledged me was hot and popular at school, so naturally I developed a crush on her, even worshipped her. It also made me feel somewhat superior to my loser friends that she was willing to occasionally talk to me. She was my first real life, not celebrity, crush. I first met her in 9th grade biology, and I would let her and her best friend copy my homework and lab report. My loser friends thought I was pathetic, they hated girls like her, and I knew even back then that I was being a simp. But being able to interact with her was better than nothing at all. It was literally the only thing I looked forward to. This whole paragraph, and honestly, everything he's putting on Reddit is a social psychologist's wet dream. This man needs to be studied. Don't get me wrong. I think the person that he came out to be was totally shaped by the person he was in high school. And then it just kept getting worse because of how isolated and how much of like a loser he was. Like, he's just such a loser for this mentality, bro. There was one girl in high school who was like the only reason he was ever happy in life, and then that bled into his adult life where the only happiness that he can find is based around hot girls being able to objectify them and being able to experience what they can do for him sexually. That's literally all he cares about. So he goes on to explain the 3 happy memories in high school that all involve her. We already went over all of these because like I really just don't want to read this shit again. I went out of state for college, but because I was in a male dominated major and wasn't in a frat, the only time I got to interact with hot girls at all was freshman summer orientation and welcome week / pre-rush. Only time I played beer pong. I wasn't bullied, but in a way it was worse because I became invisible despite being surrounded by pretty girls on campus every day. I didn't even have the chance to simp like I did to my high school crush, and I had nothing to look forward to. It was excruciating and my mental health got worse. I genuinely believe, chat, he has created a prison in his own head, and that is the prison that he stays in. Like, oh, wee woo, I never get to talk to hot girls. Like, yes, you did. You don't have to be in a fraternity or your male dominated major like didn't keep you from meeting hot girls. You kept yourself from meeting hot girls. I didn't join a fraternity until after my first semester. I met plenty of hot girls. Don't you worry. And I was also an engineer too. It's not like you're an engineer and these women don't exist. This dude is just a loser. I still didn't watch hardcore porn, but I wasted hours looking at topless girls with boobs and rewatching high school underdog movies like Superbad, The Girl Next Door, Can't Buy Me Love, until I flunked out of college and had to transfer to a less prestigious college in state. I took 2 electives in senior year and I did a group project with a pretty sorority girl. I had no game and was still quite nerdy, so I went back to simping again. We sat together in lecture. I got her pumpkin spice latte before Halloween and a jellycat plush before semester ended before Christmas. Sometimes I would walk her back to her car after class. That was the limit of our interaction. It wasn't much, but it made me feel a lot better about myself. I did get her phone number and I would occasionally make an excuse to text her, but didn't want to come on too strong because she was obviously way out of my league and knew plenty of cooler guys. But you got her a pumpkin spice latte and a jellycat plush? But then also he didn't want to come off too strong. I don't know what guy needs to hear this, but like, don't go around buying girls shit who you want to date until you like start dating them. Unless they're your friend and you're getting them a coffee like as a friend. But if you're actually interested in them, just fucking ask them on a date, dude. Just do it. Just clear the air there first. And then if they say no, continue to be their friends if you can have healthy relationships with girls, which this guy does not sound like he can have healthy relationships with girls like this. In the spring semester, my last semester in college, she always smiled and waved at me when we ran into each other on campus, even when she was walking with her friends. I'll always appreciate her for that. Those little gestures, she wasn't embarrassed to let her friends know she knew me, meant the world to me. In a way, she probably saved my life, or at least made me stop skipping classes and graduate on time. Anyway, my taste in girls frankly didn't change much all these years. Outgoing, feminine, long hair, thick eyebrows, sweet face, and soft facial features. Not too skinny, tall, or muscular. Abs are a turnoff, and marble statue butt is no fun. But since the end of college, I've known I prefer the girl next door look over runway models, Southern sorority girls over New England, New Jersey over New York City, dislike hipsters, page 3 girls over British upper class, Hooters girls over celebrities. I find most celebrities completely unattractive, such as Zendaya and Taylor Swift. The only celebrity I find attractive is Sydney Sweeney, but I find a lot of college influencers like Livy Dunn, Sydney Thomas, and even random college girls with 5K followers hotter than her. Once again, he just sees women as objects to compare which one is better to each other. I seriously doubt this guy could get in a relationship even if he found like his perfect ideal girl. There's no way he could get in a relationship with them and then not eventually cheat on them because he's always comparing them. He's always just talking about like, the only thing I care about is the hottest girl with the biggest butt and blah, 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 blah. Like that's all he cares about, and that's all he's going for when he makes his decisions on who he's going to date. Pantsuit and business casual are a complete turnoff. Expensive designer clothes, handbags, and sunglasses and chic fashion statements do absolutely nothing for me. Girls that wear skimpy tank top that shows cleavage and short shorts are the ones that turn me on. The only difference between teenage me and now is I've realized I don't like how fake boobs feel, and I've learned to appreciate curvier girls, hog, oh my god, with big natural boobs as long as they carry their weight sensually and confidently enough to wear skimpy clothes that are too small for them. I still have no interest whatsoever in quirky, nerdy, gamer, emo, cosplay girls, Asian fetish, or any mainstream subcultures. Ever since I started working, I've been on a mission to find/date/have sex with my type. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 24. It was with a weird girl at my cousin's wedding. I ghosted her and went celibate for almost 2 years. I've done everything I possibly could to make myself more appealing to them. I'm not even gonna fucking read this again. Yet it seems like it's almost impossible to see any now that I'm no longer in school. It's like all the hot, popular girls already have their set social circles and it's impossible to break into any. I tried being more social, dating apps, hobby groups, speed dating events, volunteering, community center, but all the girls there are unattractive and desperate in my opinion, and polar opposite of my beauty ideal. Oh, they're unattractive and desperate? Oh, Beans! What are we doing? Ooh, what if I totally am not trying to bait you into being on camera. Don't you worry. I would never do that. Come here, Beans. Can I come pick you up? Can I put you on my shoulder? Oh, can I? Wow. Hey, buddy. Oh, he said no. Is it not reading Reddit time? It's give Beans treat time? Is that what time it is, Mr. Man? Oh, big yawn. Ooh. Oh, you gonna show your belly? You gonna show your belly? We're gonna rock 3 little treaties for Beans. Evil Sarby, thank you for the dono. Pastel Pinky, thank you for the dono. Tabby, thank you for all the donos. Sophia, thank you for the dono. And Nico, thank you for the $2 dono. Give Beans a treat for me. I got you guys. I got y'all. Thank you guys for all the people who resubscribed and subscribed on Twitch, as well as Valkyrie, who rated the stream with a party of 2. He's waiting so handsomely and so politely for his treaties. Yeah, okay. There you go. Honestly, I usually put treats in his food bowl, but I didn't do that this morning. So, chat, I think it's only fair that we just give him 2 more from chat because we love our handsome man. Oh, he's so polite. Look at him. He's so politely waiting. Okay. You've had such a good day already today. You went out in the hallway. We played for a little bit. You got some treats. Are you leaving us? Is that what's happening right now? Oh yeah, you're coming back. The boy is back. Is there some interesting stuff happening out there? I think the handsome man yearns for the window, chat. Let me put him back down. You want the window? Oh, he does not yearn for the window. I guess he's hanging with us. He's hanging with the gang, huh? Do you want to be streamer Beans? No. He said, Dad, I'm shy. That's your job. You get the audience, and then I get the treats, okay, Dad? 2 more treats because he's so cutie boy. I'm a weak cat owner, okay? He looks like that, and then I go, okay, more treat. Y'all can say whatever you want, but Beans is a well-fed, spoiled boy. That's for sure. In the first 2 to 3 years after college, I tried dating some of them due to loneliness, but I would try to put off sex as long as possible and couldn't get hard even if they were sitting on my lap. There were times when I couldn't even get hard when they were giving me a blowjob. I could fake romance but couldn't fake sex. I never felt the urge to kiss them, much less go down on them. I finally found a girlfriend when I was almost 27 and she was conventionally attractive. High school cheerleader, college sorority girl. Although she had small boobs, too skinny, high maintenance, and into designer fashion, a turnoff. And has a type A career-oriented personality, another thing that's off-putting. It goes without saying, someone with my history or lack thereof could do a lot worse. I really do hope OP dies alone, because this is just absolutely ridiculous to talk about another human being like this, especially when you're such a fucking loser like OP. It wasn't until last spring when I finally found the girl of my dreams. She was 21, just dropped out of college, and was working at a sports bar. She's only 5 foot. I'm 5'9", with long blonde hair, voluptuous, big natural breasts, and big butt. Okay, we've been here. We know who he's fucking talking about. He has lost the plot. The question is, do I have bad taste in girls, or am I surrounded by prudes, feminists, and snobs? Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna read this because we've already read like 80 paragraphs from him that is basically him objectifying the fuck out of a girl who's barely an adult. TLDR, he objectifies the shit out of this 21-year-old as he's done before. I think he copy and pastes the same paragraphs, because this is like exactly the same paragraph that we read in the original story in my previous video. Like, bro just likes bragging about this 21-year-old that he dated. Like, what the fuck? I feel like as a man, desiring a girl like her is quite natural, probably the most natural attraction, yet instead of being happy for me, almost everybody I knew hated on our relationship, criticized me for dating her seriously, and rooted against us, including my family, so-called friends, co-workers, even Reddit. They called her immature, tacky, dumb, neither classy nor educated enough. They accused me of being creepy and exploitative because of our age gap. What do you guys even talk about? Well, let me just say we had plenty to talk about, certainly more to talk about than all the boring blind dates my mom and sister tried to set me up with recently. And had more fun, not just in bed, than any other girl could have given me. And after she left me to get back together with her ex, she met my sister and brother-in-law on Thanksgiving and likely thought she would never fit in with my family. Everyone gloated. My mom was like, you dodged a bullet, and that I would have dumb kids if I had married her. She might not be book smart, but I don't find her dumb at all. Sorry, Kaylee. You're gonna catch a stray here. I feel like you have to be so unbelievably dumb to fathom getting in a relationship with this man. Like, sorry to Kaylee. Sorry to any of his previous exes, but truly and genuinely, there's no way you have successfully sussed this out of him, because he's so unapologetically transparent about how much of an awful human being he is. I think for you to be with him long term, you have to be a little dumb. So I don't think his mom isn't cooking, but the bigger issue here is what he was talking about of him being accused of being creepy and exploitative. Like, dumb, you can't help that. If anything, him being exploitative is because she's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was able to exploit her because she wasn't smart enough to know any better, or mature enough, or old enough. And my mom was sure I would find someone sensible eventually. I felt like screaming at her for wrecking my chances in high school and college and made everything sense so unbelievably difficult. My sister made fun of her by calling her short and fat. Wow. Oh, whoa. In quotations, tubby girl. And she tried to fit into clothes too small for her and had horrible fashion style. Wow, what a fucking awful sister. Okay, this whole family just needs to be... Can we just put them on an island and let them fucking battle it out Hunger Games style? This is just the most ridiculous family I've ever come across. She also made fun of her family background. Neither of her parents went to college. Her older brother is whip smart though, planning to go to med school, and opposite of her personality and their perceived political leaning. I mean, this guy has to be a Republican. Like, he has to be a little Trumpy boy. I don't get why people can be so snobby and act like I'm some kind of traitor to my class for dating her seriously and wanting to marry her. Do I really have trashy taste? Were we doomed from the start? Am I destined to be trapped in the same kind of boring relationship / marriage like my parents, my sister, and their friends? I think you're destined to be alone forever if you keep this up. I'm sure these girls have nice redeeming qualities. You're just not falling in love with them because of their nice redeeming qualities. You're falling in love with them because of your objectification of them and what you think is the epitome of being attracted to a woman, which is all based around what they can do for you sexually. And because of that, you have trashy taste. For sure. Am I calling these women trashy? No. I'm calling you trashy. You clearly don't like love these women because of who they are as people. You love them for what they can do for you. Actually, guys, I want to read some of the comments. Like, what are people telling him and how is he responding? Someone said he has incredibly high standards. OP responds, you might think they're high, but people around me actually think my standards are low and trashy. They don't understand why I push highly educated girls with successful careers they try to set me up with away. Because you don't care about their career. You care about their voluptuous body. You display a lot of the condescension you accuse your family of towards people who aren't your type, so it's hard to take your grievances seriously. OP, not condescending. I like what I like, can't force attraction. They're obviously free to live their lives. I'm just not interested. Okay, yeah, but at a certain point, bro, you gotta look at your attraction and be like, oh shit, maybe I'm fucking up here. Everybody's saying the same shit and he's just making excuses. I need to know where you get your audacity so I can pick some up. Holy shit. We need to lock this dude in a cage and study him. Cause what the fuck? He wants a sex doll, not a partner. No, for real. Let's just give this dude a robot to fall in love with so that he doesn't breed and doesn't have kids as fucking dumb as him. That's literally all he wants. And another post from 10 days ago, why are men's sex or desire for sex seen as undesirable or even gross by women, especially older career-oriented women? I had an interesting discussion on sex with a frequent poster on this sub a couple of months ago, and he made an interesting point that I'll quote here. There's 3 kinds of sex in a long-term relationship. 1, maintenance sex. This is boring physical release. One partner can be completely disengaged from this if necessary. If this is the most common, the relationship has problems. 2, mutually engaged. This is where both parties are engaged, but nothing special is happening. This is the most common for most couples. 3, truly fun sex. One or preferably both partners are exhibiting a raw primal energy of desire and want and need. Couples do this regularly, have great sex lives. Men with healthy libidos have a need for their partner to truly desire them. Men's sex and desire for sex is often seen as undesirable. Gross even. So when a man's partner succeeds with words or actions to make him feel like he is sexually desired on a raw primal level, he feels loved in a fulfilling way. This is not connected to any one act or group of acts. It's a set of behaviors by his partner that make him feel wanted and desired. I don't know if you know this, but you can feel wanted and desired without even sex in general. I kind of understand it now. I think his whole idea of what love is has nothing to do with like how that person makes you feel, how they treat you, the things they say to you, the things they do to you, like the things that actually should make you fall in love with someone. The only thing for him that allows him to fall in love with them is this sex primal enough for me? Which is just an absolutely awful foundation to build love in a relationship. True romance and love based off of how you feel about somebody results in sex. Sex should not result in those other things. It's very similar. There was another story that we read about how the guy was like, oh, there's no sex here, and therefore there's no romance in the relationship. That is flawed. It should be, if there's no romance in the relationship, there's no sex. It's not the opposite way, because sex is a very like personal thing where if the consent isn't there, there's a problem, like a huge major problem. In your romance, if the consent for romance isn't there, that means that one person isn't into the other person. That is so fucking crazy. I can't believe there are dudes out here that think like this. How fucked up in the head do you have to be to like come to these conclusions and think you're right? I think most of us men on this sub have a strong desire for number 3. Some men might never experience it. Those who did but no longer have it probably spend the rest of our lives looking for the same high/dopamine hit. Some of us might even still be with the same girl, but still end up with dead bedroom and living as roommates because the girl changed. There are times when it feels like most women, both feminist and conservative, end up as prudes and stop being sex positive, especially the older or more successful professionally they get. In other words, they become more masculine. Y'all, this was a fucking task. I'm not gonna lie. This has probably been one of the most painful videos I've had to record because I just want to put my head through a brick wall until my brains spill out of my head. This is so unbelievably painful. I hope this man dies alone. I truly do. I really do. They usually even stop dressing sexy. Some even cut their hair short by their late 20s/early 30s. They find their own husband/boyfriend icky for trying to initiate sex. Casually caressing/groping/tickling them, walking around at home shirtless or in their boxers in the summer, jerking off in the shower or at the desk, even if they are jerking off to pics of their own wives, not watching porn or paying for OnlyFans, requesting dress up/roleplay on special occasions, etc. I guess my basic question is, why are seemingly more progressive and previously very sex positive girls become more and more prudish and turned off by men's desire for sex as they age and or climb the career ladder? Is it because they were faking it when they were younger, never that into truly fun sex in the first place, or something else? I just can't wrap my mind around it. Most of us men here find horny girls hot, so why are men's desire for sex often perceived as gross and pervy? Obviously, I'm not married. I'm not in a super long-term relationship, but in my head, the way that it makes sense to me is like girls are just as horny as guys, even as they become older, even as they become successful. It's really about how those guys go about the relationship. With the health of the relationship has to do with the decline or increase in sex. And that's the problem, is you guys think, oh, the sex is what's going to make the relationship good, but it's the relationship relationship that's gonna make the sex good. And if you don't understand that, if you don't think that, just fucking stay away from any woman ever. Women don't exist just to have sex with you, bro. They got their own shit. They got their own goals, their own aspirations. They're not just waiting around sitting in a chair like, gotta make sure my husband has the best blowjob of their life and I have to give them my primal energy. Shut the actual fuck up. If that's ever how my brain starts working, I want one of y'all to just end me. Just take me out behind the barn and put me down Old Yeller style. Cause this is disgusting. If I have to be called a man hater at the expense of ending up seeming like this guy, I'll take that shit every day, bro. Put me in the dictionary as man hater. I don't give a fuck. I'd much rather be a fucking man hater than end up like this fucking loser and people like him. The next 3 stories we're about to read were all posted and taken down in the subs that they were posted to. So they've gotta be fucking awful. Body type, scent, including down there, and sexual compatibility, fetish. What matters the most to you on a girl? Are any a potential deal breaker? Most of us on the sub likely agree that a pretty face and a nurturing / feminine / fun personality are the most important factors when it comes to attraction. But aside from those 2 primary factors, how much do less talked about factors, body type, scent, and sharing the same fetish, rank in order of importance? And can any of these 3 less talked about factors turn you off enough to ghost someone or end a relationship? Is this really how you spend your time on the internet, bro? Some people use the internet for just the most dog shit things. This is an inside thought, my guy. Body type. Some guys like tall and skinny girls. Average boobs or fake big boobs. Some guys like short and skinny girls, especially those into Asian girls. Some guys like me are into shorter girls with big natural boobs and not too skinny. Some guys like athletic girls with abs and small boobs. Some guys care about ass more than boobs. This dude just loves fucking talking about himself. Take myself, for example. I wouldn't date girls who would rather be taller than me in heels or same height. Just say you're an insecure little bitch. Our bodies wouldn't complement each other during sex. It would make me feel emasculated. Oh, wee woo. Everything we've read in this stream, in this video, you should feel emasculated for that. No self-respecting man should ever feel comfortable typing all of the words that you have typed on Reddit. You should feel more emasculated for that. I'm 5'9" and my last girlfriend is only 5 foot. Only? I can't get hung up on everything this guy says. I'm 5'9" and my last girlfriend is only 5 foot. I also find it hard to be aroused around girls who have small to no boobs and or muscular. They often go hand in hand. Scent. One of the reasons I realized I was deeply in love with my last girlfriend was how much I loved her smell. Not just her hair, shampoo, and perfume, but also her natural body scent. I loved smelling her skin, even in a hot, humid summer day when it's 100 degrees and we're both drenched in sweat eating ice cream outside the shop. I still loved smelling her. Nothing could turn me off or gross me out, and I think being so unself-conscious around each other made our sex life hot. For example, she didn't mind breaking a sweat when riding me, but I don't need an example. I know exactly what you're talking about. You don't need to fucking go into an example. For example, she didn't mind breaking a sweat when riding me. Most girls I slept with before were vanilla and didn't ride at all. She's also the first and only girl so far that I couldn't wait to eat out every time. I wasn't particularly enthusiastic about eating out my previous girlfriend, was just routine, and I don't eat out my friends with benefits at all. My takeaway is pheromones is a big part of sexual attraction, and I wouldn't want to date someone whose smell I dislike. Even now, 4+ months after our breakup, I still sometimes smell the dirty clothes she left behind to remind me of her, and it saddens me her smell is slowly dissipating. Here's the thing, chat. I think he's right. I think pheromones are a great thing. Like, if you're attracted to someone's scent, that is a really good sign, obviously. Don't need to turn it into, let me fucking brag about how much this girl would ride me and how much I'd love to eat her out. Shut the fuck up. Sexual compatibility. In my opinion, sharing the same basic fetish is a big part of sexual compatibility. In a previous, almost 4 years long relationship, my sex life was unfulfilling because she made very specific demands and would flip out if I didn't do them 100% to her liking. I guarantee her specific demands were just, hey, do what I need so that I can get where I need to get to. But no, all that really matters is she riding me? Does she smell good? I felt like I was walking on eggshells and wasn't fully able to enjoy sex because she made me think too much during sex. For example, she would want me to talk dirty to her during sex, but flip out if I say stuff they dislike or go overboard. I would rather be a silent operator if I had to walk on eggshells during sex. She also requested me to spank her butt during sex, doggy, but refused to let me spank her butt over my lap as foreplay. Okay. In a more recent hookup with a girl from an app, she took issue with my habit of muttering good girl, over and over when receiving a blowjob. She said it was creepy. I was offended and got up and left immediately. We were in a motel. I didn't want her to know where I lived. Never even had sex with her. She wasn't my type anyway, and taking issue with something so minor means we clearly weren't sexually compatible. I think the best sex should be an out-of-body experience when both of you let go of your inhibitions and let your primal instinct take over. You don't care if you're grunting too loudly. You don't care if your facial expression is unappealing. You say whatever that comes to your mind. So you just want a girl who has no sexual boundaries so you can do whatever you want to her? Like, that's what I'm hearing, dog. All he's saying is basically, how dare she have preferences when it comes to our sex life? Obviously, like, pheromones are biologically, they're important. Like, the girls that I've been the most into, I usually like how they smell. I think people's pheromones work different, though. Like, if you don't like how somebody smells, that could just be because you don't like bad smells, but you can still be just as attracted to them. I don't know. It's more just his utilization of these things and then being like, well, I'm just gonna start bragging about my sex life. Brain rotted from porn. No, actually, I think he is probably brain rotted from porn. Being comfortable with your partner is important for having better sex, but like not what this dude is saying. I agree, Mbem. He's not saying being comfortable with your partner and working on like figuring out like what fetishes you guys both have, what fetishes like are specific to her or to you. Like, I think there should be wiggle room for like, hey, this isn't something I'm super into, but because you're into it, like I'm willing to do it. But really what he's saying is the woman wouldn't let me do what I wanted to do to her at any moment, and therefore I think this is all very one-sided on his end. I wonder why it got taken down. Yeah, no kidding. Here is another banger from him 3 days ago. Since my last girlfriend, 21 female, left me 31 male, I insist on splitting bills on all my dates because I'm not that attracted to them and don't care if they think I'm cheap. Am I being unfair? I'm a 31 male, just turned last month, IT engineer who work mostly from home. In the past, I was always extremely generous in providing for my girlfriends. I had a 4-year relationship prior to my last girlfriend. I paid for the flights and hotel rooms whenever we went on vacations. Example, took my last girlfriend to Paris for the Olympics last summer, Venice and Lake Como. I always paid for dates, including some fancy ones. I paid rent when we cohabited. I leased out fancy cars. I bought a small boat last summer. I showered them with gifts and flowers. I was a late bloomer in the dating scene. Never had a girlfriend or had sex in high school and college. Didn't lose my virginity until I was 24, so I thought I was dating way out of my league and did whatever I could to make them happy. I especially spoiled/pampered my last girlfriend because she only had a part-time job. I didn't care that I was spending irresponsibly instead of saving. Since my last girlfriend and love of my life, 21 female, left me for her ex, 22 male, shortly after Thanksgiving, I've been on a lot of dates with girls I'm not particularly interested in. Some are blind dates my mom or sister set me up with, and those are usually with successful career women in my age range. Management consulting, junior associate at law firm, investment banker, PhD candidate. Some are random girls I matched with on dating apps. I reluctantly returned to swiping for the first time in 6+ years shortly after Valentine's Day, including a 23-year-old ESL teacher and a 29-year-old half-Asian cosplay girl. None of them are remotely close to my type, so I often find myself tuning out on dates and half-assing a lot. I also find that going on dates so frequently is putting me under financial strain. I don't like looking at my monthly credit card statement. I still make my bank mail them to me, because they all add up. Most of these career women prefer going to fancy restaurants or a wine bar. Even on weekends, they would want to at least go to a brewery. I make it a point to insist on splitting bills because A, they obviously make good money, and B, I just don't like them that much and just don't care if they think I'm cheap. If they don't want to see me again, so be it. With most of the girls from apps, I'm strictly looking for hookups/friends with benefits relationships. I would only take them to chain restaurants like Olive Garden, Texas Roadhouse, Outback, etc. Nothing fancy, and even then, I begun insisting on splitting bills. I did have sex with 3 girls, 1 consultant, and 2 girls from apps, and got a flaccid... Why are you telling us that you got a flaccid blowjob? Chad, at this point, I'm just more convinced that this dude is like, with how flaccid he is, he has to be into guys. And got a flaccid BJ from an interior designer out of this flurry of dating. But most of the sex is vanilla and unsatisfying, and none of these girls is my type at all. Remaining sexually active hasn't made me miss my last girlfriend any less. I quit dating the consultant and other friends with benefits relationships. Also ended abruptly due to them catching feelings and wanting more commitment/being exclusive. Maybe it could have gone on longer if I wasn't being cheap and made them split bills, but since I don't find them attractive and the juice simply wasn't worth the squeeze. Ew. The juice simply wasn't worth the squeeze? I know it's a common phrase. It shouldn't be. Also, hey bro, just don't drink the juice. Oh, wee woo, I keep going on these dates with these girls and then just having meaningless sex with them. Stop. This dude is like a perfect example of just like a dumb idiot man who creates his own problems. I'm not really too bothered they've ghosted me. I've resumed cold approaching girls who are actually my type, albeit without a lot of success. Good. I hope you die alone. Someone was commenting about his posting history, which we've gone through a majority of it, or at least the highlights. And then he goes, how does my post history make me sound like a real creep? Why is being vulnerable creepy to you? I am once again vying for shock therapy treatment because what else is going to fix this awful human being? Men will do anything except get a hobby. Like, this dude actually has like a sex addiction, maybe even a porn addiction too. For you to base your entire happiness around the sexual interactions you have with someone is insane. Like, don't get me wrong, y'all. Sex is great, but that shouldn't be priority numero uno. Bro's not on Reddit asking for advice, but expecting to be validated and wants to brag. Yes, Chris, that's exactly what he's doing. And here is OP getting on his high horse. Why are people on Reddit so obsessed with policing age gap in relationship? I don't get it. Every time I ask something, 90% of the answers would be attacking age gap of my previous relationship without answering my question, and I'm not even old. Just turned 31 last month. You're not old, but you're old enough to not be dating a 21-year-old. This sub is obviously better than others, except when it gets brigaded. But even here, there are quite a lot of people obsessed with attacking perceived age gap in relationship. I feel like there's a disconnect between Reddit and real life because I've never met anyone in real life who criticized me for dating girls 8 to 10 years younger. I often feel like Reddit, like all social media, is a hive mind echo chamber completely disconnected from reality. Bro, didn't you say in one of your previous stories that people were saying it was creepy that you were going after her? Like, you're such a fucking liar. I forget where it was, but he literally said people were calling it creepy. And even if people aren't calling it out in person, they're probably fucking thinking about it. Like, your family, the girl's friends, your friends, they're all probably thinking the same thing. You're a fucking weirdo. It's 2025. Same-sex marriage is legal and widely accepted. All kinds of fetishes and kinks, including age-related ones like MILF, are celebrated. Yet the most normal, biologically driven attraction, fertile girls in their early 20s with prominent fertility traits such as big boobs, wide hips, etc., is stigmatized and apparently creepy and unacceptable. Live and let live. Stop infantilizing consenting adults and telling people who they can or can't be attracted to. Like I wrote in my comments, almost every celebrity, prominent athlete, movie stars, and influencers, men with the most options, clout, and access to girls, are in age gap relationships. Okay, not saying that that's a good thing, bro. Like, I do think as much as we joke about Leonardo DiCaprio only dating girls until it's 25, like, I think it is important to point the fuck out that that's weird. Dude is actually kind of a fucking weirdo for that. It's not like we're sitting here like, oh, whatever. Normies either marry/commit earlier or don't have access/clout to chase after the most coveted girls. Even startup founders, corporate law firm partners, hedge fund managers, etc. rarely have the opportunity to interact with pretty girls after college graduation. It doesn't mean we stop being attracted to them. I've already given my age gap spiel, bro. It's about the phases of life. If you're 25 and you decide to date someone 5, 10, 15, 20 years older than you, I've always taken a stand like, okay, at that point, bro, like, you're a full-grown adult doing full-grown adult things. By the age of 25, I do think, like, you should have a job. You should be, like, paying your bills, like, taking care of yourself, maybe thinking about starting a family if that's what you want to do. Like, you should be able to suss out if a relationship is predatory or not. 21-year-olds do not have that at such a big age gap. Like, I'm thinking about me as a 21-year-old and like my priorities, what I was looking for, like, completely fucked up. Like, yeah, sure, technically you're of the age of consent, but like, you shouldn't be going after those people, like, actively. And in the way that he does it too, it's like, oh, it's not like he's like accidentally meeting them or like messaging them on social media or something. It's like he goes out of his way. He goes to spring break vacations in Florida. He goes to college tailgates and bars to go and hit on them. That is super fucking weird. The amount of people that are kind of agreeing with him fucking scares me. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of people like this, but there's like this person. It wouldn't be accurate to say people are obsessed with policing it. It's mostly women that police it. No, bro, I'm a dude. I'm policing it as well. You probably shouldn't be dating someone who's 21 at the age of 30. Not probably. Just shouldn't. If they were 25, 26, bro, go for it. You know what? Even I'll say 24. At least out of college. If they were out of college doing their own thing, sure, bro. Like, maybe it's a question mark, but like, I get it. Fucking 30? Like, go date someone your own age, dog. What are we fucking doing? The potential power imbalance is huge. Like, honestly, Chad, the fact that he was saying that he was paying for everything is fucking weird. If you're paying for everybody, you're creating a power imbalance. He wants a young girl because younger girls are the only ones naive enough to put up with his bullshit. He also clearly can't date a girl who's more successful than him. When you hit 18, that's when you start adulthood. So by that logic, technically an 18-year-old is a 0-year-old adult, whereas a 30-year-old is a 12-year-old adult. 0 years of adult experience versus a 12 years is a big difference. That is a fantastic way to put it. it. So this is the story that OP just posted. Is a huge plush bunny from Jellycat a good surprise Easter present for a girl I just met 3 days ago? Or is it too forward? Guys, over under on the age. Oh, we can kind of see it here. Shh, don't look at that. Don't look at that. Before we finish up this last story, if you've gotten this far into the video, that probably means that you're enjoying it. And if that's the case, all I ask is that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future reading Reddit videos. I upload 2 a week. They're usually 40+ minutes and they go up every Monday and Thursday. On top of that, I have over 110 reading Reddit videos on my channel. So if you're looking for your daily dose of drama, head on over to my channel for hours and hours of reading Reddit stories just like this one. Happy Easter weekend. I'm a 31 male IT engineer who works remotely. I was on a multi-states road trip in the Midwest earlier this week. Yo, get the fuck out of my area. Ew. I was on a multi-states road trip in the Midwest earlier this week to meet up with my sister. She was giving a talk at a conference and wanted me to be there for moral support since her husband couldn't go. I was taking my time while making my way there and went to numerous sports bars in mid-sized cities / small towns along the way to unwind. On Wednesday, I had a late lunch and a drink on a quiet afternoon at a sports bar around 3:30 while watching ESPN on TV and managed to chat up my waitress. Her name is Maddie, short for Madison. She's 23. She was a fine arts major who just graduated from a college nearby in December, planning to attend graduation ceremony next month, and still figuring out what she wants to do in life. Even though it was a slow afternoon, just a few old timers at the bar, I asked for a table, and I knew she was probably just doing her job. I appreciated the fact that she was chatty and friendly. I told her it was my first time in her state and I was in the midst of a road trip. When she brought me the bill, I took the initiative to ask for her Instagram and she gave it to me. I kept driving on. By the time I reached the hotel in another town that evening, she still hadn't requested to follow me back and I was getting a bit anxious. I was worried she wouldn't follow me back. I usually unfollow people who don't follow me back within a week because I'm salty. And perhaps I was misreading the situation. Maybe she was just being nice to me due to her job. Maybe she already had a boyfriend, never deterred me. Maybe she already had a boyfriend, in parentheses, never deterred me though. I mean, we knew he was one of those guys, but I guess thanks for confirming, you asshole. I tried to remind myself not to overthink and that perhaps she was still at work and couldn't get to her phone. I also had to remind myself that these kind of encounters usually don't go anywhere from my past experience and I should keep expectations to the bare minimum. She requested to follow me on Instagram by the time I woke up the next morning and I slid into her DMs. Then I got her number and we've been texting the last couple of days. Just feeling each other out and getting to know each other better. I already thought she was pretty hot at first sight, but she's starting to grow on me even more since we started texting. We're not close enough to call / FaceTime yet. So far, I've alternated between complimenting her. She texted me some of her doodles / graphic designs and I told her I was impressed and that she's talented, and flirting in a somewhat nonchalant way because I don't want to come off as a desperate simp or creepy and scare her off. I'm sure she gets hit on by creeps at work all the time. It's a fine and delicate balance. When I met her in person, she looked to be around 5'3" and had long, dark, brown, straight hair. She has nice... We were so close. She has nice, perky boobs, albeit not as big as my last girlfriend's. I would say C or small D cup. Her arms and thighs have just the right amount of thickness in her tight uniform. She has a cute little smile and her face has a nice glow to it. I also like the way her lips look with glossy lip gloss. I hate red lipstick. And her nude nails. My only minor quibble, not a deal breaker at all, is that from her Instagram, I noticed that she has 2 tattoos, a butterfly tramp stamp, and a quote in fancy font on her upper thigh. Plus, she told me by text that she vapes sometimes. I don't vape, smoke, or do drugs at all. Anyway, Easter is this Sunday, and she mentioned to me that she had to work that afternoon, so I've been thinking I should contact a local florist to send her an Easter gift basket with a plush bunny from the brand Jellycat. They're quite pricey and well-made, to surprise her at work for the occasion. My last girlfriend loves how soft those stuffed animals are, and I even ordered a custom-made personalized huge bunny for her directly from Jellycat with her name on the bunny's ear, and she loved to cuddle with it. Before my last girlfriend, I also sent a St. Patrick's Day gift basket and a bunny to another waitress I met on a trip last year, but then she ghosted me anyway. So it seems pretty hit or miss, and I'm not sure whether it's considered a memorable and thoughtful gift or not. Maybe I'm overthinking and it all depends on whether she likes me or not. So like completely excluding that this dude is like a fucking shitty human being. Don't do this. It's weird. You guys have been talking for 3 days. I think flowers could maybe be cute. Even that would be a little bit of a stretch. But flowers and like a custom made jellycat, and I know how fucking expensive those are. Bro, save that for a relationship. That's the thing. That's probably why that girl ghosted you, is it's kind of creepy. It's kind of weird. If you guys haven't been talking that long, if you just kind of met her briefly and you don't have that established connection with her, it's weird. Too try hard. I don't think anybody would find that endearing. I know some of you would think it's a bit too forward that I'm love bombing her, but from my experience, you're better off showing initiative / demonstrating interest early instead of beating around the bush, because people these days have short attention spans and pretty girls have a lot of options. I'm also at a phase in my life where I'm much more comfortable putting myself out there without fear of rejection and embarrassment. You should be more embarrassed. Your behavior is fucking ridiculous. Here's the thing, my guy, is like pretty girls have a lot of options. You don't want to be with one that you're not their #1 option. Now, that being said, you're probably feeling this insecure, like you need to love bomb them because you're a pretty shit option. Have some self-respect, my guy. And then also go to therapy so you can get over this absolutely insanely misogynistic mindset that he operates under all the time. Despite our distance, I obviously want to see her again, even if I have to fly there. Since my breakup late last year, she's the only girl I'm attracted to who actually seems interested in getting to know me, despite the fact that I've cast a wide net and cold approached plenty of girls the past few months. Yes, I'm already somewhat besotted. Yes, I've already fantasized about having sex with her and making her my new girlfriend, but I also don't want to get too ahead of myself because at this current juncture, she might ghost me anytime, and I know these things, i.e. flirtatious texting, can fizzle out quickly. If she reciprocates, I want to fly there next week, and if everything goes well, perhaps fly her over to where I live, show her around, and ask her to be my girlfriend. Maybe I'm overthinking all of this and should just man up and shoot my shot. The problem is, no matter how slick and confident I try to appear, I still tend to overthink with girls I genuinely like. With girls I'm not really into, I wouldn't really care if she suddenly ghosts me, so I tend to be pretty low effort. This probably happens to the best of us. He was posting like 3 days to a week ago, maybe 10 days ago, how he was like sniffing his ex's shit and like looking at her old photos. Like, bro literally just bounces from one pretty girl to the other. You need to stop hosting to Reddit and please get professional help for the good of society. Leave this poor girl alone, you absolutely diabolical human being. Sincerely, everyone who has read your post history. Comment. To end this video, chat, I'm gonna do the only thing that everybody watching this video in this stream should do right this fucking second. 3 dots next to their name, report profile. Really? This is all you can report on Reddit? You can only report their username and display name. You can't report them for being an absolute dog shit account. Are you fucking serious right now? This dude could be just saying some absolutely awful things, and yet this is all we can report them for? Reddit seriously took an L for that. I can't believe those are the only reasons for reporting an account are the display name and the username. Are you fucking kidding me, Reddit? That is so stupid. Hey, here's an idea. Why don't you just make it so that people can't have awful display names and usernames? That has got to be the most incompetent fucking reporting system I've ever heard of in my entire life.